It's getting worse.
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
I'm sorry, whiteface?
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but...
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the...
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
We'll address that momentarily. More folks piled on.
The glow of an expected widow. Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality. In this culture we're living in, absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint.
How would you feel? How would you feel if the president of the United States said he wanted to wipe out an entire population? How would you feel if your husband said because he's famous, he can grab him by the pussy? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do to the black pilot?
And here's the thing. It's not like she's helping her cause at all. I mean, look at how she's framing, for example, this.
And if you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one? That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady. He said that she had the glow of an expected widow. The glow of an expected widow.
But that one claim of whiteface is patently absurd.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Simply put, whiteface is not a thing. It does not exist.
Let's not forget the term whiteface wouldn't exist if y'all ain't start that blackface bullshit back in the day, portraying us out to be violent, criminals, unintelligent. Come to find out that's actually you. Not all of y'all, but just let's call a spade a spade. Context matters. The history behind blackface matter. And let's also not forget the movie White Chicks was one of the biggest comedies of its time. And a huge part of their audience was white people because of the context of the movie. The Wayans weren't talking down on white people. They were just making fun of rich white privileged kids. And they were spot on. And it was funny. Now, if we talk about popular movies that did blackface, like The Birth of a Nation, which was one of the most popular movies of its era, while that movie portrayed us to be violent, unintelligent, sexual predator, and painted the Ku Klux Klan to be heroes. You know, kind of like how y'all do with Trump and Charlie Kirk. So the skit Druski did portraying itself to be a white conservative woman, it's the same context as White Chick.
Claire Corbold, Associate Professor of History and Associate Head Researcher of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences at Deakin University, wrote for The Conversation, key to the distinction between whiteface and blackface is simply the relative power of the groups being parodied. Blackface minstrelsy emerged in the United States in the 1830s, just as slavery began to disappear as a mass entertainment form that degraded black people. White performers used burnt cork on their faces and painted on enlarged red lips and white eyes to create offensive caricatures.
Who was that lady I saw you with this afternoon? That was no lady. That was my wife.
We mustn't forget, blackface peaked in popularity during an era in the country when demands for civil rights by recently emancipated slaves triggered racial hostility.
Ah, yes.
I asked Margot Jefferson, the Pulitzer Prize-winning critic, to look at some images from the New York Public Library.
The shininess of the black against the big white clown's mouth, the hat, the overlong tailcoat, mocking. It always gives me the jolt that racist history does. Blackface is so tied to comedy, to people enjoying themselves, to people having fun, that rattles you still more.
Well, Mr. Tambo, you seem to be enjoying yourself this evening. Enjoying myself? I sure is.
Before we continue, if you can, please do become a paid channel member or go to Buy Me a Coffee, where you can support the show for the price of coffee a month. Thank you very much. So in addition, society modernized the ways in which blackface was portrayed. The stereotypes were so powerful, they became a recruiting tool for the fucking Klan. African Americans protested the film's portrayals and its distorted take on the post-Civil War era, yet it continued to be popular among white audiences. That film, The Birth of a Nation.
But it's also where Jump Jim Crow was born, along with other characters depicted as lazy, lying, or buffoonish. Remember, this was all happening before the Civil War.
Understanding this history is vital to reading between the lines and just having a full concept on how what Erika Kirk is saying about whiteface is completely out of touch. The joke in whiteface comedy is not "this person is white," writes Corbold, but "this person is protected, entitled, and used to being in control." She would continue. Rather than just reversing blackface, whiteface aims to expose whiteness as a social and historical performance with material consequences. In doing so, it calls into question any sense that racial inequality is natural. His target, she writes, is not women in general, but a rich, entitled figure, as in Druski's targets, who turns privilege into threatened innocence and then demands protection from racialized dangers she and other people like her have largely invented. Now, look, I don't think anybody should be supporting Charlie Kirk's show, Turning Point USA, etc. The one thing, okay, and this is the only thing, is that when I think of this, I think back to what Paul Mooney said, where he basically stated white folks have to be able to laugh at themselves. And Charlie Kirk, when he was spoofed on South Park, did just that.
Okay, everybody, the South Park episode just dropped, and honestly, it is hilarious. I mean, part of it is kind of like whatever, typical humor, but it was hilarious. Just watch this little snippet of our Prove Me Wrongs, our viral cultural domination on prime time on Comedy Central. So important, so impactful that South Park is highlighting. Watch it. South Park gets this right. In fact, I think they've been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. South Park, I was told going in, Charlie, if they say your name, that's a big win. Well, apparently there's the Charlie Kirk Awards.
Not only did he go along with it, although those videos were painful to watch.
Now, there's going to be a lot said about this, but we need to have a good spirit about being made fun of. This is all a success. This is all a win. We as conservatives, we have thick skin, not thin skin. And you can make fun of us. It doesn't matter. And until next time, I hope all of you also become master debaters for truth.
He basically said that conservatives need to learn to laugh at themselves and have thicker skin, something she cannot do. Thus, you see stuff like this. Kyle Kulinski writing, Erika is the LeBron James of getting people to dislike her more by the day. Truly impressive. As for Erika Kirk's claims about Candace Owens basically saying that she, Erika, was responsible and played a role in Charlie's death, the former Turning Point USA member and Kanye buddy is retweeting everyone who says, hey, Erika, this didn't happen. Personally, I have not been able to find a single thing on this. Yes, she is a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I don't think you should watch her at all. I think she's totally off her rocker. I don't think she provides anything in the discourse aside from some tea within Turning Point to see a terrible, awful organization that is somehow a 501c3 still in business. Yeah, I will watch and I will laugh when they tumble because they are faltering by the day. People are quitting left and right. Beautiful sight to see. Erika Kirk supposed to go, cites security concerns. Really, it was low attendance that she knew was going to happen. They put the vice president there. He looks terrible. He backs out of the next Turning Point event. It is all fantastic to see because Christian nationalist organizations like this should fail. They should. So watching it fail, yes, I am enjoying it. Owens would say of Erika's video, very uncomfortable to watch, painful prompt to read, a speech clearly in all caps written by someone else, objectively terrible. So they will now pay for people to tell us otherwise. Also, of everything I've said about Erika, she chooses to respond to something I never said. They always lie. You know what? Some people will say that they are enjoying it. Some people will say that they fully support Candace Owens or they fully support Erika Kirk. Me personally, I kick back, grab some popcorn, and say, let them fight.